Hello. For me, it's morning, so good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Happy to be here and happy to tell you something about our solution. If you want to learn more, you can always reach out. We can organize a demo session, or if you want to learn more about it. But I'm going to tell you a bit more about our solution. And as the new kid on the block, uh, it's yeah, how would I say? I hope it's going to be something fresh. Okay, bear with me a second. Okay. So. What we do with Docbyte is that we have a solution also based on open standards, but we offer qualified preservation. So it's how would I say, the best of both worlds, an open solution, but a certified one. And who are we? We started out in 2006 in Belgium. We had offices across the globe, but that changed with COVID. And as we moved to a SaaS solution, we've been in the business of digital archiving since 20 years. We first implemented other solutions before starting to create our own solution. And we are the world's first ADAS qualified trust service provider that also offers electronic archiving and certified by KPMG. And we serve a variety of verticals. So we are not just limited to public archives and memory institutions. We also serve other verticals. Our product vision statement is that we want to be the most compliant and certified solution out there. So ensuring organizations that they comply with regulations and how would I say the necessary requirements, so that they can focus basically on their day-to-day business. For in heritage context, that might seem a bit strange, but that means that we take care of the technicalities of the solution, that we take care of having the solution evolve, while how would I say, the archivist can focus on appraisal, selection, so the real collection management, and that we take care in the back end of the digital preservation solution. Okay, and that's something that might be easily claimed because paper is docile, if I might, or quite compliant as well. But of course, if you want to have such a claim, you need to be able to provide a proper certification. So we are ISO 27001 certified. We have received the e-archiving seal of conformance, and we are a qualified trust service provider for long-term preservation and for electronic archiving. But what does that entail, such a certification? So ours has been done by KPMG. That means that it's not only the solution itself that is certified, because they really look, so it's not like an ISO 27001, where you could have, let's say, your organization of the sanitation unit certified. In our case, that's a bit different. It's a complete organization that is also certified. So they come in and they look at, how would I say, the people and the organization that is put in place, whether they are capable of managing a preservation solution. Next to that, they also look at the documentation. It starts with the documentation, in fact, but also the contract. So do you have all the proper contracts in place? So, for example, an exit procedure in our contracts is guaranteed. The practice statement is documented. Uh, the archiving profiles are documented. The preservation policy is documented. So that everything is documented. It's out there, and we can't do anything, let's say, with our solution and with the organization without it being documented. So, and we can't deviate from the documents without risking a recertification, to put it like that. So also, the documentation is out there. You can go to trustcenter.docbyte.com and you can request access to that. Also, the solution documentation is out there, so everything is out there. So for us, when we started building our solution back in 2014, we started building our own solution. And at the core of it, we adhered to these four principles. So confidentiality, integrity, authenticity, and availability. Of course, those principles are quite well known, I suppose, to the archiving community, but it's also something which is quite well known to the security community. So we guarantee confidentiality through role-based access control, attribute access-based access control, but also we have full retention management in the solution, which can be either event-driven, metadata-driven, time-driven. Integrity is, of course, at the core, with the which is well known through the typical fixity checks, but we also have worm level immutability, S3 object locks, and yeah, if we are talking S3, that's maybe the only technical limitation that we have in there. We insist on having S3 storage, whether it's on-prem or in the cloud. But that's something that the community might come to see, let's say, in the coming time. S3 is going to be unavoidable also for other things like avoiding ransomware, object locks, versioning of packages. Next to that, authenticity. We do that typically, of course, at the core with the provenance metadata, but we offer more things on top of that. So qualified timestamps, evidence records, Merkle trees, so that guarantee the authenticity of information. And last but not least, availability, long-term availability of information. In our context, there's no limitation, of course, with regard to formats, but also pure data can be archived. We have format obsolescence management, long-term access, of course, through what we call the three preservation horizons. So what are those three preservation horizons? The operational preservation, legal preservation, and historical preservation. So we don't just focus on the historical preservation. We also, how would I say, cover operational preservation. And as such, we also adhere to the principles of archiving by design, the principle of which I thought at some point that I was the inventor until I learned that the principle was already, let's say, invented by the Dutch National Archives. But with archiving by design, of course, as said, then you also need to provide the CIAA. And this is another principle that we want to, how would I say, or new concept that we want to introduce as Docbyte. And we hope that it's something which is also going to find or going to be introduced to the wider digital preservation community, because with a preservation solution, we want to introduce a seal, so a secure evidence and authenticity layer in every organization, because those typical enterprise systems, so your ERP systems, document management systems, whatever, they are not built to guarantee long-term preservation of information. They are not built to provide evidence and authenticity and security to your information. But how would I say, your information in some cases needs to be exposed to the outer world. Just look at the European data spaces, of which you have one for heritage as well, meaning that you have to expose your preservation solution to the outer world. So meaning that you really need a secure evidence and authenticity layer, so a proper secure digital preservation solution that can, of course, adhere to the open source principles, but that also needs to provide the proper security. And at one of the iPress conferences a couple of years ago, we were reproached that we were business archives, and that, how would I say, our place was not iPress. But it's not, because we also not only serve heritage and memory institutions, that we don't adhere to the same principles, and that those solutions can't be used because we have several memory institutions as customers. But how would I say, very often the budgets for memory institutions and public archives are quite limited. And this way, you also can offer a solution to the business, and you have new use cases with your solution that you can serve. So as said, we have open standards at the core. We use as we have the e-archive seal of conformance, probably the last ones to receive it. But we use the eArc SIP, the eArc AIP, and we also provide the DIPs. But our DIP is a bit more expanded, to put it like that. But of course, the DIP can also be based on the customer requirements, of course. For format identification, we use Pronom and Droid. Within our solution, based on the Pronom identification information, you can choose the transformations that you want. We can have representations for different purposes, preservation purposes, anonymization purposes, public purposes. So for different types of scopes, we are metadata agnostic, but we support multiple metadata schemes. By default, we provide Dublin Core, but we support EAD, ISIG, MDTO, TMLO, topic X, topic. So whatever the customer requires, we can, at the same time, every package can have several metadata schemes. You can update the metadata schemes, add metadata schemes to existing. But at the core, how would I say, we are at the core not developed as a digital asset management or a document management system. We are a real preservation solution, so everything is AIPs. But meaning that we can, if you update metadata in the back, it's going to create a new AIP, so an update AIP. And we have openness as a core value, not only as of the company, but also of the product. So we have open APIs that are publicly available, described not only by us, but also by the European Commission. Everything is fully documented. The URL is there. You can consult the documents. And as said, we, at the end of the, let's say, contract, you can get, and also during the contract, you have full access to the AIPs and you can export them. And as we support the eArc specification, METS describes the package structure, and you can export to another archiving solution if you wish. So as said, we can connect to any source, any collection management, pre-ingest tools, that are out there, but also, which might seem strange in some contexts, but also to digital signing solutions, document management solutions. And for that, we have an open source tool, which we call Vault Ingest. And Vault Ingest can connect to any source and can create as the output eArc zip packages. And it can do that for pure data or whatever type of information. And we can, as said, connect to those different systems. So for us, any system that can export data is a possible source. And next to that, so as one of the typical use cases, is application retirement or application decommissioning, because as we focus heavily on regulatory industries, but public sector is also a regulatory industry. In the current global context, legacy systems are very often a big attack surface for cyber incidents or cyber criminals. And let's not be mistaken, very often the archives are ill-maintained solutions. So because they lack the budget and they offer a proper attack surface that contains a lot of information about the history and the memory of the institution. And therefore, we also provide the solution to decommission legacy systems. and to access that information in context. So, and that's if we're talking procurement, that's one of the things that you need to think about. That's the what are the use cases that you are thinking about. So in regulatory industries, as said, very often application retirement, application decommissioning, long-term records retention. Think about healthcare. They have, and pharmaceuticals, they have retention periods of at least 30 years. Car accident with injuries in Denmark, for example, that's 8 years. That's long-term preservation. Digital signature preservation is also something that we offer. We can extend the validity of digital signatures. It's something that people not very often know, but the validity of certificates and those certificates that are used in digital signatures is quite often limited to 2 to 3 years. We can extend that validity. And we have, of course, legal hold management as well in there. In the heritage and public sector, we can also provide digitization pipeline. We have solutions to automatically classify and extract data from information. And of course, if it's born digital, yeah, the more the merrier. So what we need to know before we can help you, as said, we need to know what are the use cases that you're looking at, and think about those, because it has already happened to us a couple of times during an RFP process or a procurement process, that when we start demonstrating our solution, that the prospect then all of a sudden starts to see things that they didn't think about, and that they go like, oh, if we had known this, we would also have requested this, because this can't enter within the scope of this RFP or within the scope of the budget. And in one case, they even halted the RFP, which, how would I say, was not a good thing for us, but not a good thing for them either. But as said, and it has also been said by other presenters, I suppose, think about the use cases, talk to your suppliers beforehand so that you can properly understand the different use cases. And as such, it's quite important to know the sources. What are the source systems to which we need to connect? And and also an important thing with regard to that, we are a software provider, software vendor. So we are not an integrator. We are not. We do not provide a lot of services. Of course, if it's quite limited, that's something with which we can help you. If it requires, let's say, customizations or modifications to the solution, as long it's not, how would I say, part of the core, that's something with which we help, of course. But if you need quite a lot of assistance in defining, let's say, your metadata schemes, access lists, things like that. That's something for which we work with partners. So, next to that, for us, the volumes, because for us, everything is volume based. And that's something that people, that often happens when they say, oh, but your storage is not cheap. That's true, because it's for us, it's the only variable in the solution. So we don't work with user licenses. It's only the volumes that count. But if, for example, if you archive pure data, that requires more database volume, that requires more index volume, which is quite more expensive than basically just storage. And for us, that's the only driver. Things like that might also depend on the actions taken during ingests. Let's say everything requires multiple transformations, multiple conversional formats. We also take that as a multiplicator on the volume. Next to that, of course, the metadata and the structure of your archives. This might seem logical, but it has happened to us already more than once, where we had the impression that uh, the customer had everything prepared and that the packages were there, and that we only needed to start the ingest. Let's say they literally said we will start to pump, but that only happened, let's say, 2 years later after everything was properly prepared. So that's the thing. Be clear and open about that. What's the maturity of your organization? How is everything defined? If is everything already appraised? Is are the collections ready, to put it like that? And same thing with regard to access and retention. Are the retention schedules defined? The retention rules linked to the retention schedules. So so is the complete appraisal job taken care of. So that's something that we need. And as a little extra, maybe not something that is a typical requirement in the heritage space, but we also have a solution, Vault Explorer, which also works on mobile, which is more like, how would I say, a personal collection or a personal vault, to which you can give users that are identified or uniquely identified access to information. So in light of, let's say, things like access to permits or personal information, this might come in very useful. This interface also is, of course, more basic, doesn't give all access to all the information that sits behind it. A user only gets access to one presentation, so a web viewable presentation, but with the full text and metadata search. It's also on a roadmap to provide so intelligent search in the coming year. So the natural language search, semantic search. We also have MCP access for the ones that are working with, let's say, your typical AI agents. There is also MCP access on our digital preservation solution. So that's it for me. I can be found on LinkedIn.
Thanks very much, Frederick. You're not in your superhero costume in that final photo, I see, like not at the beginning where you were
Yeah.
modeling that, you know, with your cape and everything. Yeah, and people have anticipated my request for give you a round of applause. That's fantastic. We've still got a few minutes left in the session for questioning, and thank you for that comprehensive presentation. Connie has posted a question in the chat just as we've reached this point. So again, I'm going to read it out for the tape. So it's a question not only to Frederick, but to anyone if they want to weigh in. But let's start with Frederick. Do you have any advice to an institution that needs to do procurement because they have to, not because they're not happy with the existing product, but because they have to adhere to WTO standards? And within that procurement, are not allowed to talk to vendors in advance, but have to do the procurement process and wait for vendors to answer it. How can we reach vendors? Is that a situation you encounter quite a bit?
Yeah, we encounter it, but that's something that really depends on the region, because for example, in the Benelux, there's a step allowed, like the market discovery, in which they can perfectly talk to providers, suppliers, have a look at the solutions, and also discuss pricing, for example, because if you enter a procurement without knowing or without having any idea about budgets, that might be an unpleasant surprise later on in the procurement process. But also in a lot of cases, and that's, what would I say, something that you normally see, is also the RFI phase, so the request for information phase. Procurement in which you can't have any contact with suppliers beforehand, that's, yeah, let's say that's quite uncommon.
Okay. Well, yeah, we haven't really got an option to have kind of a general discussion at this section. We probably should have picked that up in the panel session. So maybe if the other vendors who are still here have a particular response to Connie, they could perhaps reply in the chat, because we'll keep focusing on Docbyte for now. But one thing I might have missed, Frederick, is what does a typical Docbyte customer look like in terms of, like, the sector, the size, their priorities? Are you mainly working with European-based institutions at the moment, and are you looking to go wider?
Yeah, but how would I say? Via partners, we also have customers in the US, but there it's rather healthcare and insurance and health insurance. But the verticals there's a variety in verticals. So we are also in contact with parties in APAC. For us, there's no limit with regard to territory, because we approach the market via partners. And as we are cloud-based, we can deploy in different territories. We can also deploy on private clouds. So there is no limitation with regard to that. So for us, how would I say, we don't need to move ourselves. And with regard to types of companies, we have small municipalities as customers. So that's for public archives. So, but ranging until the let's say the larger multinationals. So where we are talking rather petabyte scales. So it's there's no limitation with regard to the types of organizations that we can provide services for. But services as software as a service.
Okay, thanks, Frederick. You clearly you were putting the emphasis in a lot of your presentation on the sort of the various certification schemes that you comply with and meet. Do you want to just say a little bit more about why you think certification is a key aspect to the digital preservation arena?
But for several reasons. For starters, information security. If you are going to store, let's say, the heritage of an organization or a country in a solution, you want to have guarantees with regard to information security. Also, what's important is being able to have guarantees with regard to the openness of the solution when it comes to an export or an exit, or even a bankruptcy of the organization. For example, in our case, let's suppose that we have a bankruptcy. We are obliged by law to look for a transfer of the solution itself. So we have to assure the continuity of the solution in the future. So not only an exit at the end of a contract, but also the continuity of the solution. That's a guarantee that you can only get through certification. That's for us also what's important with regard to the certification is that that's typically the questionnaires of which the DPC also has one. But what's the difference, of course, if you have a certified solution, is that customers have guarantees with regard to the functionalities offered, not only, let's say, the functions not only offered by the solution, but also by the organization. And if they are interested, we can just give the certification scheme. So they can clearly see all the functionalities that have been tested in this solution. So certification is not something, how would I say, it's not something that we like to do, of course, but it's something that is done for the customers and the prospects, so that they know what's in there, that they know what we offer. So it's one of the things, how would I say, back in 2014, we started developing our solution because of some archivists that told us that they didn't have any guarantees with regards to solutions out there with how they store the information, whether it's actually stored in packages, uh, what conversions are taking place that they don't have an impact on the format transformations. And then let's say we start building our solution on the principles of an open digital preservation solution. But that's something that you can say as long as you don't have the certifications there. It's just words.
Okay. Thanks, Frederick. And my last one is there a way for your customers in particular, I guess, to feed into the Docbyte development roadmap? Do you
Yeah.
have like a user group? Again, is it a voting
Yeah.
model or is it, how does it work?
Yeah. So currently we don't have a community that's going to be put in place later on this year.
Mhm.
But yeah, how would I say? Because we are, of course, quite driven with regard to roadmap by our customers. And for that, currently that's basically just our customer success service that is regularly in touch with the customer base, and based on that, we develop the product. How would I say? It's very, very, very customer driven.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I'm a little bit conscious of time and Sarah's looming at me. So I just wanted to pick up. Thank you for answering the specific questions about Docbyte. Just to pick up for the benefit of the recording, a couple of people have responded in the chat to say, perhaps the best way to engage with vendors is to kind of start discussions in public, post to some of the lists, go to conferences, come to events like this organized by the DPC and engage with vendors. Hopefully you can do that without falling foul of any procurement constraints at your organization. But there's a few ideas being suggested that we can probably pick up. But thanks, Frederick, again for your time. And I will pass back to Sarah.